For those that don't know, have never been here before, we're all the leads, and that's we're the host of this mastermind call. If you're listening after the fact, you're either listening on YouTube or on our on a podcast platform. Want to welcome you guys. If you're here live, we appreciate you guys being here. If you are here live, you're either looking at our faces on Zoom or you're watching live streaming on YouTube or Facebook. If you are streaming through YouTube or Facebook, you can chat your questions in. This call is for you guys. It's here to answer your questions, help you with the deals that you're structuring. If you run into objections on the phone or certain responses to mailings that you guys are doing, ask those questions. If you have a win, we want to hear from you guys. Every week, provided somebody is bold enough to raise their hand and share a win of the week, we will pick a winner of the week and you'll get a discount on the next month of leads. So we always love hearing wins. I already know we got one win that's coming up that's going to be hard to beat, but I still want you guys chiming in with those wins. We're here for you guys. This is a chance for you to ask your questions. If you don't ask your questions, raise your hands, put questions in chat. Then you're going to hear the four of us, Jim, Chuck, Tim, and myself, just talk to each other the whole time. And it's pretty boring if we're just talking to each other. So we want to hear your questions. To do that, type your question in if you're watching on a streaming platform. But if you're here on Zoom, raise your hand. We'll call on you. We'll provide a little bit of coaching, clarification on what you're doing. It doesn't matter how basic or advanced your questions are. We want to hear all of them. What else? If you guys, this is really built around probate and the probate business. We can help with any real estate needs that you have, but most of it is around probate. If you don't get probate leads, if you're just kind of exploring the possibility right now, all the leads sells probate leads. So we collect probate leads in counties across the country. We also provide a complete marketing system. So mail, postcards, websites for those of you that want to build some credibility online. We teach you how to make the calls. We have classes for you. We have one-on-one coaching every month with Coach Chuck. So many things for those of you that are either already here or are looking to potentially pick up a niche like probate in your business. So that's who we are. With that said, I want to hear from the other coaches, and I want you guys to go ahead and pop your hands up or ask your questions in chat. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, just, if you have the situation where you're not interested in raising your hand and have a very specific question, schedule your monthly strategy coaching call reserved for subscribers. Be happy to dig in, look specifically at your business where you are, and help you get unstuck if you so happen to be in that situation.
Yep, absolutely. And we do have our first hand that's gone up. Does Tim have anything to say, or Jim, before we go to Greg?
Well, I'm just going to make it clear, raising your hand doesn't mean doing this. It means what Greg just did. Hit your raise your hand button there. Nope. Yep. That's good.
All right, Greg, go ahead and unmute yourself. It's good to see you.
I think I'm unmuted now. You got me? Cool. Okay, so I have not purchased my first set of leads yet. I'm planning to do so. I am putting everything together, a budget, kind of a mailer schedule, and getting together exactly what I'm going to mail. So I'm just a little curious here. When I do purchase my first set of leads, what would you guys say I absolutely need to know before I start calling people about what I can expect to be faced with question-wise, maybe something like that? I don't want to come off where I'm totally, not knowledgeable about anything. What are the usual things that you need to know just right off the bat? I'm not talking, I'll pick things up along the line, of course, I'm sure. But that's my first question for you.
Okay. First thing you need to know is that they will likely be polite, yet resistant. Polite, yet resistant. Every now and then you get someone that's not polite and resistant. They're impolite and resistant, but most people are polite and resistant. And then on the other side of the spectrum, some people are polite and very thankful that you called. Very, very thankful that you reached out. The majority of folks are going to want to turn you down on something. And that's why we recommend that you offer kind of a concierge service as your lead in. That way they can turn you down without turning you down on your main source of business, which is going to be real estate. Otherwise, know that they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what they need and don't need. A lot of times they're very early in the process, and they're kind of flying blind, and they don't even know that they're flying blind yet. So your job when you first establish communication with someone is to do just that: establish communication, build some rapport, make sure that they know that you are a resource, and then identify what future plans for real estate are. And the future might be tomorrow, and it might be 8 months from now. You don't know. Your goal is just gather information, and if it's soon, turn it into an appointment. If it's not soon, make sure that you can continue to keep in contact, that you drip on them with emails, with letters, that you give them value over time. And then that's basically it. Your mailers are designed to do the exact same thing. They're designed to slowly pull people into a relationship with you. Some people instantly call, "Hey, I got a letter in the mail from you today. I need to sell the house," or "I need help." Some people do that. That's the low-hanging fruit. It's not predictable. Most people hold on to your letters. Most people politely resist you in your initial conversation, yet now you've established that relationship that you can turn into business in 4, 5, 6 months. Okay. All right. Hopefully that helped. And by the way, I don't see Aaron on here, but I had a conversation with Aaron Wittenstein, who was on here a couple of weeks ago, just getting started. And this was a few days ago. He called, said, "I just got my first appointment within a couple of weeks, hitting the phones, hitting it for about 15 minutes a day on probate. It didn't take that long of putting some dial time in. And he has filled a pipeline up and identified already an appointment that should probably have turned into a listing. We'll have to hear from him next week if he's not here. So I just want you guys to know what to expect. There is business in this niche. Greg, what else?
Second thing is, if I were to purchase some older leads, I believe you sell those also. Any guidance on that? Do I go back? How far do you think would be good to go back? Do you guys scrub the old leads for ones that have actually done something so far? Or what can I expect?
We can scrub old or new leads for people that have done something. The raw data does not come with specific real estate records. It does come with with 2 real estate records. It comes with the decedent's last known address and the personal representative's address. The decedent's last known address could be a nursing home. It could be a family member. It could be their house, could be an apartment. It's just that where they last received mail. The additional scrubbing that's available for everyone is called Property Plus. And Property Plus is not something that we collect if we immediately. If we did, our leads would be quite high, because it definitely runs them through quite a few additional filters. However, if you're pulling an older list, or if you're doing more than 4 mailing touches, Property Plus is a very beneficial resource that you can get. Property Plus will give you and again, it's skip traced, so it's not 100%. It's probably 85, 95% accurate. It'll give you the property that we believe the decedent has recently owned or owned at their last update. And it'll help you scrub about 30% off of a new list. So you'll scrub about 30% of your leads out that didn't have real estate. Sometimes it's as high as 15% that it scrubs out. And it really helps you save money on mailers over time. It also helps you focus if you're getting a historic list. So I typically recommend that if your list is 6 months old, that you do Property Plus. And it'll help you knock out about 50% of that list on average, about 50% of the list that you're not going to call, not going to mail to anymore, and really focus in on the 50% that still have real estate. And sometimes that could be 40%, sometimes 60%. but about 50% at the 6-month mark. So historic data, if you want a high likelihood of people still having real estate, go 3 months, maybe 4. If you want to go after the people that everybody else has quit marketing to, go 6 months. If you want to go after a really small, narrow list of people that are probably going to be ready to sell right now when you call them, go after 12 months. Okay. All 3 are valid approaches. So if inside of 3 or 4 months, most people will not have sold the real estate yet. So that's still going to be a highly accurate, most likely still having real estate list at 3 or 4 months. But if you don't want any competition, go 6 or 12 months.
Okay, makes sense. Are there any groups in this mastermind that do role play?
There are. Have you taken the Prospecting Mastery, Greg?
Is that the one you're having next week?
Yes.
I'm signed up for it. I haven't taken it yet, of course. Yeah.
Perfect. So the group that does role play, I know Douglas has his hand up. He is in that group. I am looking across my Zoom panels to see who else. I know that there's several people in the mastermind. Go on there and post that you're interested in joining. They specifically follow the Prospecting Mastery outline for role play calls, which is not the only way to prospect, but it is a very good way to prospect. It leads with service, and it gives someone something that they can resist without shutting your real estate service down. So go on the ATL Mastermind and post that. And I'm sure some of the folks that are doing role plays actively will tie you into that group.
Okay, thank you. That's about it for me. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. I see some of you guys have chatted some questions in. I've got a panel full of raised hands, so we will get to those of you that put a chat in here in just a little bit. I want to go to Steve first, though. Steve.
Hey, Bruce. Good afternoon. Hey, I would like to defer my time to my esteemed colleague, Courtney Rollins, because he's got a much better story to tell than I do. I'll even go later in the queue, but it's a story worth listening to.
Amazing. All right. Sounds good. We will call on you here in a little bit. Let's go to Courtney.
All right. You got to forgive me. I'm driving, but hey, everyone. I did have one question, but I guess I'll share that at the end. But I did want to share. A huge thank you to Chuck and to Bruce and everyone, because this approach, this concierge approach that as you all mentioned, is exactly the way to go. I just closed on, I guess, my first aware of probate lead last week, and it was all because of the holistic approach that I took with the to the point where when I was visiting one of his properties, he showed me a stack of all the calls and all the postcards that he received. And I asked if I could hold on to them. And I looked through them, and not one of them had any conversation or any framing that was, hey, we're here to help you through the probate process. All of it was, hey, love to buy your property, love to buy your house. And he was just overwhelmed with them to the point where he just became blind and numb to them. But because of, working with you guys and folks like all the leads, I was able to approach him from that, hey, how can I help you? And found out that he's dealing with 2 probates, and one is from his mom who passed away 5 years ago, and he thought that she had about a $248,000 Medicaid lien on her estate, and so he wasn't expecting any money from the property. This is a property for the last 5 years he's been putting in, paying utilities, paying taxes, and is about 2 hours away from where he lives. His wife passes away in December. He was assuming that maybe they would go down there and visit sometimes, but he really had no reason to keep the property, keep the house, and he just wanted to be rid of the burden. And he was not expecting any funds, but still, I share with him, here's some options. If you listen, this is probably what you'll get based on the comps I'm saying. This is the rehab I'm assuming that you might need to do, all these different things. And he said, hey, I just want to get rid of it. And I was like, okay, Mr. Lowley, we're going to still take a shot at trying to remove the actual lien to see if we can get you paid. Don't expect anything. To be quite honest, I told Chuck the other day, I didn't do anything fancy. I just called up Medicaid and presented the issue, and I didn't even really get a full answer. But in the meantime, I went ahead and sent the purchase agreement to the title company, and within 3 days, title came back clear, ready to go. And we didn't want to, shake any lying beast or anything, so we pushed it through. And Mr. Lowry ended up with $60,000 that he was not expecting, and I was able to receive a $25,000 assignment fee. And he still has a property here in here in Durham, North Carolina, that he wants me to help him with. And there's several other, I mean, he has funds now, so he might become a private investor. And there's just other things, opportunities that I have here. And I was talking to Chuck the other day, like, how do I approach this next step? Because to be honest, I was super excited and felt like George from Mice and Men. Like, I didn't want to tear up the opportunity by being so excited. And what you told me was exactly what I said to him. Chuck was like, hey, you need to just go to him and ask him, what is the next big thing? What's the next big issue on your plate that we can help address and take off your plate? And so I asked him about that yesterday, and we're meeting again Monday to see what options he has for his property here. So this is going to be a deal that continues to give, and really just lit a fire under me to I just really reinforces the approach. And I just wanted to thank you all for that. That's awesome.
Chuck, you're unmuted. Yeah. You got something to say.
Well, I think it's, I met Courtney back in November during his orientation. And one of the biggest things is he took the information, he took the baseline, and he started implementing, and he executed on it. And kind of a piece of that, how did he get into that particular deal? There's a fourth leg to the three-legged stool that we kick things off with in orientation. And that's going to be relationships. And, one of the relationships that Courtney talked about was, he went into the courthouse and became an amazing friend of the clerks at the probate office in the courthouse. And through those relationships was able to uncover these opportunities to be able to help people that settle the estate easier than them doing it alone. So the biggest thing that I'm really proud and excited for Courtney is he picked everything up and went out and implemented. He just did what we teach here at the ATL system, and money didn't come too much longer after he started implementing, and the pipeline's filling up. We talked about that last week. So kudos to you, man. Absolutely. Just, keep working with Mr. Lyerly. And the key point there is, what are you going to do with your inheritance, right? Opening up that opportunity, continuing to have that conversation about, what are they going to do? Because it can be a situation where Mr. Lyerly already has some trust because Courtney's been able to perform. And now he has that relationship to a point where him becoming a private lender is totally in the cards.
Yep. Amazing. All right. Good stuff. Courtney, you, I believe, have another question. Unmute yourself again. And I want to let everybody know that has chatted your questions in. We see you guys. We're coming to you guys here in just a little bit. And before, Courtney, you asked your question, I want to make sure that everyone knows that if you are a little bit tight on time, try to stay to the end. We do have a special deal that we want to present to you guys at the end of the call. All right, Courtney, go ahead.
All right, awesome. Thank you. So I am working with a probate lead in Baltimore. We have it under contract. I have it assigned, but now the title came back clear, but there's a receivership on it. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with receiverships in the Baltimore City area, and we're trying to find the attorney who's supposedly, I guess, give us approval, but that person is like zero dark 30. We can't find him anywhere. So just any guidance on how to get an assignment through that has a receivership on it in the Maryland or Baltimore area. Is that too specific? Is that?
No, that's the kind of question that we like here. And I am doing a quick Google search. I'll probably have to, unless one of our other coaches knows a little bit more about receiverships, Chuck or I'll have to have a separate call with you. Unless Chuck does, or
great.
Tim or Jim, I'm in the dark here.
Well, I definitely know who to connect you with in the Baltimore market, to be able to get that specific question answered. In my time investing in the Baltimore market, we didn't come across that particular issue. But so I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know who to connect you with, and that's the power.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chuck. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, Courtney. Thanks for taking action. I gotta tell everyone, and I've always said this, and I don't want to say never. I didn't typically have anyone that I could point to as an example of this until Courtney. But I've trained quite a few people that live in my area on doing this and put people through, and I don't hold anything back. And the reason is twofold. Number one, I love seeing people have success. I love it. Number two is I know most people don't take the action that I'll tell them it takes to get business. And Courtney, it's not that hard, is it?
No, it's simple.
It does take action, though, doesn't it?
It takes work. It takes work. Absolutely, it takes work. But what you focus on is what you gather. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And it does my heart a lot of good to know that someone who's in my backyard, who technically, if I was selling a whole lot, would be competition, is doing this. I absolutely love it. Kudos to you, man.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate all of y'all. Thank you.
Yep. Let's circle back to Steve Carney. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, thanks, Bruce. Great testimony by Courtney. And I don't know if you realize this, but by him doing this for these folks, I've seen his YouTube videos. I've seen him come on and speak, but just look at the level of confidence that he has now versus maybe earlier. I'm not saying he didn't have it. He wasn't a go-getter, but there's a heck of a lot more confidence, which leads me to believe that there's more deals coming, and he's just able to serve better and to be able to provide his value proposition. And I know a little something about leadership, having spent 30 years in the Army. So kudos to you, Courtney. Again, you give us all hope. So thanks. And for the record, I was a better Army officer than I am a real estate investor, but I'm still working on the ladder. Look, I had a great call with Chuck on Monday because I'm one of those guys who's stuck. And the biggest obstacle is me, and I know that. Chuck gave me some points. And last week during the call, Chuck talked about an estate planning council that he was on. Well, he and we're Pennsylvania guys, right? Chuck's a native. I'm a transplant. I'm a new Pennsylvanian. I grew up in Jersey. In any event, I called and I'm playing phone tag, but Chuck said, "You're in. I know this woman. Don't worry about it. Just pay your fees." So I'll have that option available to me. So, which is really great. And, he put me on a path for a campaign, which I've taken action on, and get this out and get the PDF done up so I can send stuff out to people electronically when I call them. That way I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm giving them something, which is, value first, which is what this community is all about. So, and for those of you who didn't attend Bruce's DNA agent class yesterday, which I did attend, and he called me out as being an investor, which really is a wannabe investor. And I'm still on the fence as to whether or not I become an agent, because I understand having different tools in the box are helpful. But as he points out, that class isn't just about becoming an agent. No matter what you're doing, you've got a side hustle. There are just some incredible points there that you can get. It's simple, but it's not easy because you've got to implement it. It takes time to do it. So just a bang up week, nowhere near the great work that Courtney did, but, in Carney's position, it's a win. So thanks. I appreciate that. I appreciate, folks hanging in there with me. So, but this is a great program. For those of you who aren't members, join, get the leads, and you'll move forward. I guarantee it. You just got to do the work. So that's all I got, Bruce.
Thanks, Steve. That is amazing. Listen, I love hearing testimonies like that. I am doing the work. I am improving. I am working on it. Those are equally valuable, because I can tell you when you are putting the work in, the results will come. It's those that sit nervously on the sidelines, wringing their hands. I'm scared to make that first phone call. I'm scared to send that first letter. What if the person doesn't receive it well? That kind of thing that will limit people. And I can tell that that's not limiting you. You're doing the work, you're improving, you're going to get there. So thanks for being accountable. Thanks for plugging in. We really do appreciate you here.
Well, Bruce, I want you to know that Chuck said, hey, quit texting me. You need to raise your hand and actually say something. And of course, Tim will probably get on me for being, me, which is okay. He's done that before, and that's fine.
You're awesome, man.
But thanks, man.
Yeah,
thanks to you all.
Thank you. All right. We got another Stephen Lundy. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Stephen Lundy. I'm an investor agent here in South Florida, interested in starting the probate niche in my business. And I'm doing my due diligence. There's obviously competition with you guys. Probate's Daily, I guess, is a major competitor in my market. And then, of course, I can get leads on my own manually, directly. So maybe you could just touch base on why I should go with all the leads. Any suggestions? I appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. I'd say that there's a few of our subscribers who might want to chime in on that one. I will tell you why I think you should. But I'd also love to hear from some of our other subscribers and folks on this same thing. It's really all about the tools. When you are building a business in a niche like probate, you're going to have a cost. Okay. And that cost is anything from a time cost. So it's time in going to the courthouse, pulling the leads, finding the correct skip tracing resources, skip tracing through multiple platforms, which is a little bit of money as well. There's the time commitment of calling, the time commitment of drafting your letters, time commitment of sending your letters and remembering when to send again, the time commitment of building a website. So there's a time cost that doesn't hit the wallet so hard. And then you also have the option of taking a wallet cost with a low time commitment. And then, of course, there's everything in between. So you can spend money on some things and spend time on others. So what we do with all the leads that makes us different, number one, is we believe that our data is second to none. I've seen the data from any competitor that's out there, and it's almost always less accurate than ours, in my opinion. Okay, opinion, and I'm a homer. So And this was before I worked with all the leads. I was in all the lead subscriber as well. So, and I recognized this before working with all the leads. So data is one big thing, and systems are another big thing. And again, that depends on what systems you want. Nobody else, to my knowledge, that provides leads provides coaching and training from people who've actually done the work. When you come to my training and Chuck's coaching, we actually have built probate businesses. There are other gurus and trainers that are out there that are really good. They don't have lead companies. So we're here teaching you what we do in our businesses to make sure it's successful as well. I periodically will see what other companies do when they don't have active realtors or investors that are helping you grow as a part of the company. So we have mailing touches, we have letters that you can use, we have probate websites that you can build for credibility and authority. We'll give you structure of how to produce a YouTube channel and video content and blog content and so many other things. So it's almost like you're buying into a system, and guess what? The leads come with it. With a lot of accuracy in the data. Now they're still skip traced. I don't want anyone to expect 100% accuracy on phone numbers, but they're skip traced really well through multiple sources so that we can ensure a good amount of accuracy. All right, and I will let some of our other subscribers maybe chime in. and let you guys know what else there might be. Before I go to Douglas, Mark waved his hand. Let me go to Mark. Mark.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey. So I'll just weigh in on my experience so far, and I don't have a win as far as even connecting with the potential probate PR yet. But I will just tell you, so I'm a real estate agent, broker for the last 19 years, and my market is very competitive, and I wanted a different niche, and probate spoke to me just for who I am and how I connect with people and the relationships that I build. And so in the last month, since I've started with all the leads, I'm using their website. I'm using all of their materials that I've customized and had printed out and have now. I've done Bruce's training. I have Chuck's coaching. And the number one thing that I have is confidence. So when I talk to my first person, and more importantly to me, when I start speaking to attorneys, I have the confidence that I know what I'm talking about, and that if somebody visits my website, that it is relevant information with teeth, and that I am knowledgeable. So the ongoing support that ATL gives has been phenomenal. Again, it's your mindset. Where I am in New York, Chuck and Bruce know this, I can't make phone calls. I can if I want to sustain a fine, which I don't. So we're under this crazy rule. And so I am sort of waiting. So I can't reach out to the list. The list, I get, what do you guys call it? Property Plus? Mm-hmm. So I have my list with Property Plus, and so I got my first set of leads were 288 leads. I was able to sort them by who doesn't have real estate per this list. I like one half of Queens more than the other, so I took out those people that I really don't want to be mailing to. I set up a mailing of 5 touches. The first one just went out, which I got, which I have to tell you, is beautiful. I chose a font that I thought was the least machine looking, and to me it looks totally, sort of scribbly handwritten. It's called Rock Salt. And just receiving this as a person, it's very compelling. So the letters, the postcards, everything. So if you're looking for sort of, for lack of a better word, a ready-made business, I don't want to get leads that have basic information that I have to start doing that work. I have other real estate work to do. So I want this as ready-made as could be. So it's time versus money, and I'd rather spend the money to do it. So without a win yet, and you'll know when I have one, I can't say anything better than what's offered here. So.
Outstanding.
Yeah, and just to clarify, Mark, you are reaching out through the, you're providing them value through their mailbox. You're just not initiating that conversation directly with cold calling.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear when you can start cold calling. And Mark, you've been in prospecting mastery class.
Yeah.
So you know what to say. Hopefully I see you again next week, and you can double down and really refine that conversation approach so that when you're comfortable calling, you know exactly how to deal with that call.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's also important that, to know what to say when people call on the mailers.
Mm-hmm.
You can't throw me for anything regarding probate now. I mean, on the off times, I am watching the videos and, the masterminds, and it's like, I, want to know. People hear it in your voice from the minute that you speak to them. I'm not rushed. I'm not salesy. I practice on my wife, much to her dismay. And it's, it's really all the things that I do best, but in this foreign land. And now I can speak the language. So like I say, the thing that I'm most looking forward to is interacting with attorneys. And the way that I did this was, I don't know any attorneys. I reached out to the local bar association for Queens, and it ends up that they have a newsletter, and I reached out to the sales rep who I happen to know to place an ad in their newsletter, to which there are a lot of probate attorneys who advertise in there. And then at the same time, they said, oh, we're doing a yearly directory. Do you want to advertise in there? And so I bought a full page ad in there, and that directory comes out in a couple of weeks. And what I did was I set up a domain name, and I'm going to show you. So this is the ad that I created, and the name of the website is The Guy Your Clients Need to Meet in Queens.com. So if that doesn't get them to go, but when they do, it takes them to the website that ATL provided with my money, to the attorney page. And when they get to that attorney page, it is a video of me speaking to that attorney and what I do for them. So again, this is all through, you know, the different products and services that ATL offers. So I am, like, to me, so ahead of the game, and I virtually have no competition. On one of the training sessions, there was another agent who lives 10 minutes away from me, little did I know. And so we were connected in the breakout room in our training, and we just had coffee together, and we're going after 2 different markets. So we're now pooling our resources to work together. So yet another benefit of the group and the support here.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Mark. Stephen,
Sure.
are you good? You have any other questions? If you do, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, no, that was amazing. Thank you for all the information and the testimonials. And I guess I just have to sort through it all and go to the next step. I'm sure there's people I can connect with at ATL to learn more, right?
Yep, absolutely. All right, wonderful. And Alyssa will post a link if you want to visit the website or connect with anyone. Alyssa will post the link in chat. So guys, I've got George, I had Douglas, I have Cleve, Angel, Sandy, a few, Kim. Okay, got some questions that are coming in. We are coming to you guys. I am going to let you all know what happens if we run out of time and we don't answer your questions. We just started this last week when we'd run out of a little bit of time and didn't get your questions answered. I'm taking any questions that have not been answered, and I'll sit in front of my camera, pop the question up on the screen, and we will answer those in a short form video. That's going to go onto our Facebook page and Instagram. So if you guys are not on our Facebook page, it's All the Leads. If you want to join our Facebook group, it is All the Leads Mastermind. Instagram is All the Leads what? Literally, I've never been on our Instagram. I just
All the Leads
team.
Yep.
All the Leads team. Those are going to be posted in the form of reels. So if you guys like to consume short form videos, go follow All the Leads team and follow us on our Facebook page and in the Facebook Mastermind, All the Leads Mastermind. You guys will see answers to those questions. And I apologize to any of you that we do not get to. We're trying to get to everybody's questions, but I'm long-winded. I'll take responsibility. If we don't, we'll record a video for you, send it to you, send it an email, and put it on our socials so that you guys can get answers to questions that are really important. And even if you guys didn't have the question, go watch those, because what one person is facing today, you might be dealing with tomorrow. All right. Now we have an announcement that we want to make. Who's going to, Tim, Alyssa, who wants to share this? I know you guys are trying to roll me into sharing this. You're going to do it, aren't you? Eric, go ahead, and Eric or Alyssa, go ahead and post our announcements. We've got a March Madness special going on. And I'm waiting on someone like Tim to step in and fill in the gaps here. So we've got a March Madness special going on. We've got some really good opportunities for you guys. So and ahead of the game. Oh man, you're going through them fast. Ahead of the game. Okay, so anybody that wants to prepay for their leads, if you prepay for 3 months of leads, you're going to get a 20% discount on the lead cost. If you prepay for 6 months, it's going to be 30%. 12 months, it's going to be 35%. Our only caveat here is that you can't already have a discount going on your account. So if you do, you're going to get whichever discount is best. So if you guys want discount on your leads only, prepay, and you're going to get a pretty significant deal on your leads. We're excited about that. Next slide. All right, we were behind.
Sorry,
now
we
we're ahead. Now we're behind. Okay, everybody, we'll have some editing to do on the podcast later. Okay, alley-oop bundle. So during the month of March, anybody that you've got two options that you can select. You can send us $250. That $250 will give you $150 to use toward your mailers. It will give you a credibility website. It will give you one custom marketing material design. So our designs vary in price from like $85 to $150, depending on what you're getting. Somebody correct me if I'm giving wrong information, and it's free. So you get one of those for free, and you get a $30 credit that you can use toward any paid training. And most of you guys know that most of our training is free. The paid training are things like the 3-day agent DNA class and the 2-day prospecting mastery class. Those are very affordable. And with that $30 credit, they're going to be even more affordable. So $250 gets you $150 for mail, and then it gets you those extra bonuses. $450 gets you $350 in mail, your credibility website, 2 custom marketing pieces. It could be like a postcard, a brochure. It could be a listing template, a listing presentation. It could be a checklist, anything, and then a $75 training credit. So I encourage those of you that are doing extra pieces, you're doing websites, you're doing training, things like that, you might want to look at one of those 2 bundles. And then last is our buzzer beater. So if you are doing mailers, you've got leads that maybe are 3 months old, and you need to double down on marketing, and you order any mailing campaign to leads that are 3 months or older, you get special pricing, and it's $1.30 on letters and $1 on postcards, any size. That's a crazy good deal, especially if you're doing a little bit of a bigger size. All right. So we just wanted to let you guys know about that. Alyssa, do you have anything to add?
Yes. So for anybody who's interested in taking advantage of these deals, all you need to do is contact us. You can contact either your marketing implementation specialist directly, or you can just reach out to support, and they'll make sure that you get reached out to by your MIS or have an MIS assigned to you. If you are looking to prepay your leads, you can reach out to your original account rep or again support, and we'll be happy to take care of that. And we will be sending this out to everyone on our email list as well. So you guys will be able to review these again after the call and decide if it's something you want to take advantage of. And just a reminder that these specials will be running for the month of March and until the last day. So definitely make sure you don't wait. Take advantage of it as long as you can.
Yep.
Bruce, the only
wonderful
I'd offer just clarification is that the website, what we're waiving on the website is we're waiving all the setup fees. So you get your website set up for you for nothing. That's going to save you a good chunk of change to start with right there. And so that's a big deal. The other thing is that on the last piece of this, the buzzer beater, the thing that you always have to make sure of is we don't do bait and switch advertising. So all of our prices include postage. You may see other sites where people advertise, oh, you get this stuff really cheap. And, that's great, except that somebody's got to put a stamp on it and get it out the door. And we do that. So we always quote our prices as delivered. So we don't try to bait and switch, and we're not going to play games with you like that. So important to know that.
Good stuff. Thanks, Tim.
Good job.
Thanks, Tim. All right. I was entirely unprepared to run through those. I gave them a review before the call, and that's why I was begging someone to take that off of my plate. Thanks for throwing me to the wolves, everybody. I quit. All right. So I want to go to Sandy's question that's been chatted in. We still want to hear from some of you guys. I think we're going to run out of time, but if you have any other questions, chat them in, because I want to get to George, who has his hand up and has been patiently waiting. So chat your questions in. We'll answer those on video shortly after the call and post those to the socials. But Sandy talks about having a client that has recently called her about a vacant property. And that vacant property had an owner that passed away in 2020. You have mailed the P.O. box that's associated with the house. You have mailed a different address, I believe, and you can't see that anything's really been opened yet. And you've asked if anyone has any ideas on what to do next to find the person that's responsible for this estate. So first thing I would do is I would probably find yourself a skip tracing source and run it through that with the property address only. That will likely produce a handful of names and phone numbers, and you're going to want to call each one. I would act slightly confused. It's going to create some curiosity. So, hey, I was looking for, I don't know if this is the right number. My name is Sandy. I'm looking for John Smith, and I really have no idea if I've got the right John Smith. Do you have any involvement with the property over at 123 Main Street? Yes, no. If they say yes, you got somebody to talk to. If they say no, move on to the next name. It's kind of a fishing expedition. Another thing that you're going to want to do is go to Google or go to your area's newspaper and do a search for an obituary. Find out who owned the property, do a search for their obituary, because it was probably published and it will probably have some survivors listed. And then you can skip trace the survivors' names as well and try to find some phone numbers there. So that's about as good as I can tell you right now. If any of my other coaches have any other ideas,
well, I think when you do the skip tracing on the deceased owner, you want to make sure that you include in your skip trace, find closest relatives and get their contact information. If the skip tracing company that you're using has that as a selectable search item, I would assume that they do.
The other thing I was going to add, Bruce, that has worked for some of our clients in the past, they've tried everything else. It's very simple. Go put a note on the door. Somebody might be taking care of that property that you're not aware of, and they might see it. Put a note on the door addressed to the caretaker or the owner of the property.
And I think in Sandy's comment, she made the specific comment posted, and she posted the house. So I'm thinking she may have, put that note or the post-it note on the door. Yeah, but that's perfect. You might as well show up, and whoever's coming by, it can be nosy neighbors that have contacts to the relatives. They'll be looking at, what's this yellow posted on the door? Oh my goodness, how can we have that in our neighborhood, right? Those types of situations.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Angel. Angel landed a pre-listing appointment. Congratulations. Turn it into a listing appointment. So pre-listing appointment with personal representative and probate, and the personal representative is under pressure to get this property sold because there's a reverse mortgage on the house and you don't really have any details. And so Angel is asked what the first steps should be to kind of get the information needed on this property. Is the house upside down? Is it right side up? I'll tell you guys, really old reverse mortgages a lot of times had unfavorable terms for property owners, and many times they're upside down. The newer reverse mortgages that have been kind of popular over the last 5 years are often much more favorable to owners, and a lot of times there's equity in those. So don't anyone hear reverse mortgage and think upside down, there's no deal here. There are deals with reverse mortgages, but first thing that you're going to want to do when you get out there is get an authorization signed, an authorization to communicate or release information signed by the personal representative that authorizes the bank to release a payoff to you. That's what you're going to want right out of the gate. Go to the site that I like to go to is a short sale site, just information site, or Jim, or Pam, really, Jim's wife. They can a lot of times hunt down who the bank is and how much is owed, as long as they have that authorization. And the website that I'll use to find fax numbers for banks is a site called Short Sale Superstars. They have banks fax numbers, and so it'll tell you exactly where to fax that authorization. 2 days later, you want to call or have Jim and Pam call, or Pam call, and get that payoff. And from there, you're going to know exactly what to do. Get it on the market, get it sold ASAP, because I'm sure every month that goes by, they're losing equity in that property. So go ahead and work with them quickly, but you got to know what you're talking about when you go in. So, hey, I need an authorization to communicate or get information from your bank. Here's the form. Just sign this, and they'll release the payoff for me, and then we can go from there. All right, so good question, Angel. While I catch up on some of the other chatted in questions, let me go to George. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you, Bruce, for calling me. I don't have a question. I just have a comment. I was on the agent DNA call yesterday, and I ran a USP by you, and it made you stop and hold your breath. So now you remember it, and that reaction and what you told me has basically broken up a log jam inside me, because I've had that same reaction going on inside me about marketing myself that way. But I didn't know what was stopping me. And now I am going back and I'm rethinking everything. And it was just that holding your breath that I said, okay. And that very same thing that made you hold your breath is what has been stopping me from marketing myself in that direction. So I'm going in a completely different direction, and I'm also going to be stealing the line about wearing a lot of hats.
George, what was your USP? We had some folks that have asked what your how you introduced yourself. This was not a probate USP, guys. It was tied to the agent DNA class yesterday. So go ahead, George.
It was my USP was basically that the real estate business isn't about real estate. It's about people. And for me, the only job I have is to help you get where you want to go. Because if I get you where you want to go, I get where I want to go. And you had that as, and rightly so. It's a great philosophy. And a lot of the emails I've been sending out have had that as its basis, without much real estate at all, if any. And then I basically sort of tape it off on that too. So now I'm looking at this and saying, well, wait a minute, hold it. I'll leave my own personal DNA on anything I touch anyway. So that philosophy is going to come across in some way, somewhere, somehow. So for me now, it's about getting the damn deals.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It is a great philosophy. And I want everyone to know that when I held my breath yesterday and it's not a good opening to a relationship. It doesn't really mean anything to the person that you're talking to. It's an amazing business philosophy, and you need to keep that business philosophy. But when you open a relationship, you've got to open it with something that piques people's interest and makes you stand out. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing that it was lacking.
Yes. And so I'm rethinking all of that. And thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Needed it.
Thank you, George. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Question came in. Does all the leads run leads through Property Plus initially, or are you suggesting that it would be a purchased add-on basically? And it is an add-on. The records we give, and we encourage you guys to work all of your leads. We know that somewhere between 70, 75, 80% of your leads often have real estate, and we would like you working them all. If you want to refine your list a little bit, add on Property Plus. It will help save money on your mail over time. Now, if you're just sending one single letter out, Property Plus is going to cost you more money than the savings. If you're sending 4, 5, 6 letters out, 8, 10 letters like some of our folks are, get Property Plus. It's going to save you money on that. The reason that we don't include that data is it's not something that comes through on regular skip tracing. It's not something that's published at courthouses, anything like that. It takes quite a bit more effort. And rather than automatically charge a whole bunch of people that don't want to scrub their list down the extra money, we just want to make it optional to those of you that are interested. So if it's 10% of you, that's okay with us. But if you want to really hone your list down and knock out that 20-25% of leads that didn't have real estate, get Property Plus, specifically if you're doing mailing campaigns or working old historic data. All right. And Cleve said he's got an appointment this week and think that the situation is going to be a little challenging. I don't have any commentary to be able to add there. Listen, challenging situations are amazing, and I want you guys to always keep this in mind. You want to use the resistance. Use the resistance. If there's an obstacle in your way or resistance, that's a good thing for you guys. Use it. If it's not challenging, then any Joe Blow could go sell that property, and you can't stand out at all. But if you pride yourself on dealing with complicated situations, you're going to stand out. You're going to get more business. You're going to keep more clients over the long haul, because they know how much help you really provided and how much expertise you brought to the table.
And because I'm reading ahead, the challenge part of that is it's a 10-acre lot with a reverse mortgage and a deed restriction stating the property can't be subdivided. So I think that's where that presents some of those hurdles and those challenges for Cleve in that particular situation.
I love that deal. There are people that are looking for 10 acres and have they don't want development on top of them. That could potentially be an actual that can make the transaction easier.
Yeah. And I know that we do have subscribers that are specifically looking for land because that's a primary component of their business. So if that lot's in Tennessee, Cleve, call me back and I think I can get you connected to a potential buyer, but I don't believe it is. I think Cleve's down in Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Cool. All right, Kim, question. When we join all the leads, we get our monthly leads, but we're also given a system, templates, postcards, letters, timing of when to send those things out. Is that all? Does that all come with the system, or is that separate? It all comes with the system. So obviously there are going to be some mailing costs and monthly hosting fees for websites and things like that. If you're using all the pieces of the system does not come forced on you. If you want to get the leads and pick the phone up and call, and that's all you want to do, we'll teach you how to do it and you'll do it really well. If you want to maximize your conversion and you want to follow our process and system, we will give you, I think we have up to now 45 letter templates. We have dozens of postcard templates, trifold brochures, listing presentations, checklists, all kinds of things that you guys can access that are all a part of the system that we kind of serve up to you on a silver platter. At that point, you go in, you pick out your letter templates, you pick out your brochures, your websites, things like that. They do add a little bit on to your monthly cost, but it's kind of provided for you where you don't have to go reinvent the wheel. And I'm going to tell you guys, everyone always asks, what letter should I send when? What's the sequence? There is no perfect sequence for every single consumer and lead out there. You send a letter out to a list, and one person's going to open your letter and say, I can't believe they're trying to sell my mom's house. I just lost her. And the next person's going to open the letter and go, I couldn't survive without this offer. So there is no absolute perfect formula. What I want you guys to recognize is that you're just going to pick letters that resonate with you. Edit them according to whether you want long letters, short letters, which messages you want to go first. There's lots of different messages that are out there, and then start sending them. And then every 3 months, you want to look at what seems to be working, what's not, tweak, adjust, add to your mailing campaign, move one letter to that was sent first to the back of your campaign, move something that was in the middle to the front of your campaign, make adjustments, because every market reacts differently. If I told you send this letter first, this letter second, this letter third, I might be telling you something that works in my market that doesn't in yours. So that's why we want to give you a general approach and then let you pick the letters based on our marketing philosophy that speak best to you. Okay. So that's kind of how we give you guys tools and resources that you can use. It is 2:04 and we've gone a little bit over. I really appreciate everybody being here though, and I'm going to turn it over to Jim. Thank you guys. If there's anything we didn't answer, we'll get those questions answered in video format and put them on the socials. Go follow us on our new Instagram profile and make sure you're tied in with our Facebook groups.
And Bruce, before I do my world famous close, Alyssa teased an upcoming program in chat, and I think she wanted to say something real quick verbally about it before we go. You there, Alyssa?
Yes. I am posting the link now again. Next Thursday, we are officially launching our Social Motivator product, which is a social media content product that is something you guys can add on to your current marketing efforts. It makes a great relationship with your website as well. Another way to reach people in your local market and engage with your customers. We are announcing it today. It's officially going to be available for purchase starting next Thursday. But if you're interested, I posted a link. You can learn a little bit more about what the offer or what the product is, what the service entails, details about, why it's going to be beneficial and all of that good stuff. And there's a form on that page where you can drop us your info and we'll put you on a quick short list. We will be reaching out to the people who show early interest first and kind of give you guys probably an early start next week on getting enrolled and getting ready to post on your socials. We'll be providing content. We will have you connect your pages to a dashboard that we've created so everything can be handled and managed in one place. You'll have the opportunity to review your scheduled posts for the week that we'll create for you. We'll give you a chance to review and approve them, or if you have feedback or changes you'd like to make, you can let us know at that point. And we'll make sure to keep your socials current, relevant, and professional as always. Again, great way to cross promote your website as well. So it's definitely a nice, relatively affordable way to maximize your impact in your community and your market. So definitely go ahead and drop your name in the interest form if you have any interest. It's not an obligation to purchase anything when we do launch, but you'll be first in line for us to give you a call and give you all of the pricing and package options and all the details when we're going to launch next week.
Awesome. Great way to end the call, guys. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. It was another great call, great participation, great ideas, great success stories. And I want to challenge each of you, take one thing that inspired you on this call, go out and put it into practice, and please come back next Thursday and share your results with her. Happy week, everybody. Talk to you the same time next Thursday. Take care.